Alright, boys. Give me 1 second. Boop. Live reaction. And give me a second, anyone in chat. Just want to make sure. YouTube kills me because there's just, I mean, it's better than Twitch still, but there's just so much other stuff you have to do when you go live, because the live, it's just weird the way like the live works versus just uploading videos. It's different than just Twitch. It's not just like a click it and go live. You gotta like do other things before it shows up, so it's a little interesting. Okay. I think we are officially good. What's up, everybody? So let me get in chat. Yo, Ability, what's going on? Yo, Mark, what up? War Table schedule didn't know. Yep, it's going to be live on Twitch at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So, you guys can hear me okay, right? Just double checking. I literally have been fiddling with some settings with the stream, so I think you guys should be able to hear me. Nate, what's going on? Gotta get a PS5. Yo, you gotta get it. Gotta get it. It's not easy to get though. TJ, what's good, man? Anyone secure those No Way Home tickets? Yes, I got 2 tickets. I got tickets for me and a buddy. We'll be going on the 16th, 6 p.m. Should be sweet. They're still doing the 4 times XP, right? I'm just looking to grind maybe a little of that quick. I would like to get, believe it or not, there's actually a need for me for the champion points. Just because I'm trying to get Thor. I just want to get the... I'm trying to get up to like champion level, whatever. I want to get this fortification boost level 5 for the extra 1%. And then the increased willpower, these 2 as well. So like basically these 3 nodes right here, I'm looking to get all the way to the top before the raid. So I guess I'll just get this one now. I could care less about the XP on other characters, honestly. It's really just Thor that I'm concerned with, so I'll just bang out a few of these. What's up, Mark Black? How you doing, man? Thank you, loud and clear. All right, very good, thank you. Yo, Van Burks, what's up, man? Spider-Man comes out today. Spider-Man comes out tomorrow, but the big developer live stream going over Spider-Man and also going over the raid is happening live today at 1 p.m. Eastern. So, big showcase of Spider-Man today, and then he goes live tomorrow.
You ready to go for a ride, bud?
I assume you're being metaphorical, as I have no physical location and thus cannot be moved.
Don't think you'd be watching it? Well, watch it here, bro. I mean, I'm going to be watching it. Or are you talking about Spider-Man? Yeah, I heard they announced that Spider-Man's getting a whole new trilogy. There's a whole... They're going to come out with a whole... Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense. But a whole nother trilogy of Spider-Man still starring Tom Holland will be in the works following this movie. So that should be interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Yo, that is not 4 times XP. That XP was very much not 4x. Let's do it one more time. Maybe I missed it. Maybe that was like half of it.
Got an elevator coming. That unit is emitting an NFC security field.
The elevator is now under our control.
That unit is emitting an NFC.
Yo, it is not 4 times XP anymore. That's a rip. What's going on, Ian? Got your hopes up? Yeah. Yeah, so 4 times XP is not still currently going on, unfortunately. The Carpet Vibranium is, though, but that doesn't matter. All right, then let's do, real quick, I'd like to do daily tachyons. Start doing some daily tachyons with Kate Bishop, but we'll see if anyone's even doing them. Oh, is it the good one today? Oh, it's the Hulk one. That one's not too bad. Oh, it ended at reset? Rip. That's a ripperoonie. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was going to end tomorrow, but I guess that would make sense. What time is Spider-Man going to be exactly? I think at reset. I think, but we'll see. Oh. Oh. Tom Holland signed up for another 3 movies. I think so. They said that, I mean, I don't know the specifics of the detail, but the word on the street was that Marvel and Sony are in development of another trilogy also starring Tom Holland. So, I mean, why wouldn't he? Why not, right? All right, clearly no one's joining this. Oh, never mind. We got someone. 2 is all we need. 2 will be plenty. Yo, Crimpus Year 1 facts. Thor is my main. Hawkeye, Kate, and Black Panther plus Captain Spider-Man. Yo, that's a lot of mains. I mean, yeah, I pretty much play. I mean, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of Spider-Man when he does come out. But as far as mains, definitely Thor, Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Kamala. Those are probably the 4 that I would say are like my top most confident, my best characters. But yeah, like I'm playing Kate Bishop right now. My Kate Bishop is fine. My Black Widow is fine. Like I've got a really good Black Widow. I got a really good Kate. My Cap is good. My Black Panther is okay. My Hulk is okay. So there are characters that I'm not like completely over the top about, but I think that's fine. I still got the characters I want. You know what I mean?
Dr. Banner has pre-recorded a message.
Yo, what's up, Rondo? About to do the unit grind. Got 6 characters ready. Missing the purple support. Might ISO. You're gonna want to do then the Day of the Remains. Or well, if you have DNA keys, you can do the DNA key chest in the Elite Vault. Or if not, you can do the Day of the Remains and then just do the both of the Shield Cache, the little underground areas. The chests in those always drop an ISO, so you could at least try those. Oh god, I'm stuck. Okay. And then if you don't get it in those, you just go to orbit, and that's that. That 4 times was bliss. It was pretty sweet. I did a little bit of it, but I mean, it is what it is. It's not like the end of the world type of grind. But yeah, I did a little bit of it with Thor. I probably got like 30 levels, which is nothing to really write home about, but I only did it for like an hour. I just like did it, turned on some Netflix, and just, boom. 1 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. Maybe. I mean,
There it is.
it's anyone's guess, really. I mean, I'm sure they're probably just going to announce it, right? Yeah, Kate's like, I mean, she's consistent, but she doesn't do a lot. She really needs to be on a team where her teammates can help her with some of the extra status effects, You finally get the hammer for Thor? Sure did, bro. Sure fucking did, and it is the best. It is the best piece of gear that I own by a wide margin. The Hawkeye piece I have the same piece on Hawkeye, and it also takes Hawkeye to the next level. But having it, yeah, the Thor one is pretty freaking insane. I'll tell you that much.
Are rather difficult to replicate in the average laboratory setting.
Give me 1 second, boys. Just want to pull up stream on my phone as well because when the war table goes live in a half hour, we're gonna want to have that up on screen, and I actually only have the one computer screen for the screen share, so I'll have to be reading chat on my phone.
One of our resistant allies is close by and could use some help.
Yo, what's up, Det? What's up, Casual? What's up, Kevon? What up, TK? What up, Tom?
You will have to destroy them all.
When does it come out? The war table comes out today at 1. Spider-Man comes out tomorrow, assumed around reset, but not sure. What's up, Mano? Oh, jeez, these guys, sometimes you do a takedown on a guy and they just don't die. They just say, I'm good. They say, I refuse. See, if I could get targeted buff, targeted Tachyon Surge with Kate, that would be strong. Her singularity is her strongest ability, but unfortunately, like, it's not good enough. And, like, look at how much damage these fucking shields take. Like, this guy's taking, well, right now he's not taking much, but, like, I was hitting him there for, what, 30,000, 40,000 for every, or 15,000 an arrow times 5 arrows, and his shield was barely moving. Like, I feel like sometimes it's just a little glitchy with Kate, you know? Because, look, once the shield's off, these guys get melted. But with the shields on, they just take nothing. Look at this, 50,000 and the shield doesn't even move. If you did 50,000 with Thor with a hammer, he'd be fucking crunched. Crunched. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really get it that much. I think something's a little screwy-looey with Kate, but whatever. What's better, Vibranium and Sonic or Vibranium and Gamma? Because I have targeted buff Sonic. Vibranium and Sonic would probably be... It depends on the character. You're going to want Sonic and Vibranium for the new raid and the raid perks. They're going to be very heavily tuned for that, but I wouldn't delete either one. Wait till you get some more of the some of the more Vibranium and Sonic support pieces. There's going to be more support pieces that say, like, you know, when you are getting, there's going to be the Sonic sender receiver one, which is like when you're in a Sonic field, you can send the Sonic effect to other people. And then there's going to be Vibranium ones where, like, when you hit a guy with Vibranium, you can spread status to other characters. So there's going to be other perks with Sonic and Vibranium currently. So if you have a Gamma piece right now that's better, keep it, but don't delete the Vibranium and Sonic ones, because you might not know what's going to come in the future that you'll want to keep it. What's up, Colin Barker? What's up, Tasha? How are you? Hope you guys are all doing good today. I'm actually off of work, so we are streaming. I took today, tomorrow off, mostly for Spider-Man, to be able to play right away and do the raid right away. So that'll be sick. Can you show it? The hammer? Yeah, I'll show you right after this. We'll get on some Thor. Hype for the raid. Unfortunately, can't play Spider-Man. Oh, brutal. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had a good answer to that. Unfortunately, I think we know the story behind that. There's very little any of us can do about it, but we totally feel your pain, bro.
That threat has been neutralized.
See, like, I was hitting that guy's shield for so long, you know? I don't know. I feel like if I had the Tachyon Surge targeted buff with Kate, that would be a much easier way. Because we can get damage buff up pretty easily. But if we could also get Tachyon Surge, we'd be doing, like, probably closer to 20,000 per crit and spread and status effect. That would be sweet. Dallas in the hospital? Dude, hope you're okay, bro. Thanks for stopping by. gonna play Avenger Spider-Man. He swing from Uncle Ben. He can hit people with a ball of webs. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what he does in most games, right? You get a character special for you guys. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do any more exclusive stuff.
We'll analyze these readings ASAP.
Well, we got Gagad here. We got this. That's interesting. I guess that's actually normal. The pro moves. You must be a CEO. I am far from the CEO. Yo, here is the Thor hammer. Here it is in all its fucking glory. This took a long time to get, but we got it. What's up, Johnny Bravo? How you doing, man? Tonight at 12 or tomorrow? Probably tomorrow, Dead Talk. Where it's assumed to be the daily reset, but they'll probably announce it at some point. At some point soon. Do I think Kate will get a Hawkeye skin? I hope so. I hope so. Danny should have taken today and tomorrow off, dead at work today. Yeah, I mean, well, I figured it's around Thanksgiving anyway, right? So, I mean, people are still kind of not really doing anything too crazy right now at work, right? Hope they bring back Tachyon proper. I mean, they're bringing it back. It's just not going to last for 20 seconds. It's going to last for 10 seconds. So that's the only thing. Do you think they'll fix the champion system in this big update? They need to fix melee? No. Unfortunately, there's nothing wrong with the champion system. Like, it's not broken. It's just undertuned. So according to them, the perks work. They've confirmed that everything works with the champion system. But it just gives so little of a boost that it doesn't matter. And they have no plans on changing it. Where does the hammer drop from? This came from the Cosmic Cube, the Monica villain sector, from the weekly objective chain. Why is it so good? So it's so good because it has targeted buff and targeted Tachyon surge on the same piece. Normally, you'd have to get your damage buff and your Tachyon surge buff from different pieces. Like, you'd have to have something different that gave the Tachyon surge buff. But instead, I get them both on the same piece, so it's able to free me up to use a defense buff and a Jarvis barrier piece. So I essentially have Jarvis barrier, defense buff, damage buff, and Tachyon surge buff all up at all times. So it's extremely powerful. Right now, it doesn't really do anything, but they're unnerfing. Tachyon surge used to give a flat 50% damage boost as long as you were doing elemental damage, which of course you are with all ranged attacks. But it got nerfed, so now it doesn't do that, but they're unnerfing it tomorrow. So it will do it again, but the duration of the buff used to last for 20 seconds. It now is only going to last for 10. So it's still nerfed, but still going to be extremely powerful. So let's play a little Iron Man, and I'll do, just while we're waiting, we got about 20 minutes. I'll do a Last Avengers, because I do still need a piece for Iron Man. What are your thoughts on the Hawkeye show? Yo, I think it's great. I think it's absolutely fantastic so far. It's pretty much what I expected. I didn't expect something like Loki or WandaVision. You know, there's two types of MCU shows, right? There's shows that expand on the multiverse concept, like Loki, What If, WandaVision. And then there are those that don't, like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Hawkeye. So it's tough because I think a lot of people are, going to rate shows based on how much they do with the multiverse. Like if a show expands on the multiverse concept, it's considered fantastic. Whereas if it doesn't, it's considered a bad show. But that's the thing, not even a bad show, but just they're going to put it lower, right? Like Loki was fantastic. WandaVision was fantastic. Falcon and Winter Soldier was also pretty good, but it was just a little too low to the ground, right? It was like, oh, like they've got these problems with the power broker and super soldiers, and it's like, bro, like, you're really worried about like government secrets and shit. Like, Kang knows everything that's ever going to happen in the history of human existence. Like, I think they got bigger fish to fry, right? So that's my thing. You know, and so I think that's where a lot of people go. But I think the Hawkeye one is going to be the best of the low to the ground shows. How long did it take for the hammer drop? Probably, I want to say at least 100 runs of the Cosmic Cube. At least 100, if not maybe more, honestly. It was a lot. Yeah, it was save cheese. You got to do the save cheese. There's no other way. It wouldn't drop otherwise. If you're trying to do it legitimately every week, I mean, that's 100 weeks, right? Or you could try to do the Tachyon Rift missions, but the Monica gives you 2 guaranteed Tachyon Surge pieces. They just might not be the rolls you want. Rift missions aren't even, they're like a 10% chance to even give a Tachyon Surge piece. So imagine 100 rifts. I mean, imagine 100, 100, let's say that, so that's 100 runs at 2 pieces a run. That was 200 potential gear chances, right? Until I finally got it. If I was trying to do that at a 10% chance, that's 2,000, just as an estimate, that's 2,000 Tachyon Rift missions to do for the same odds. It's impossible. You'd be a fool to do it. It'd actually be a waste of your time. It's not that worth it. What's up, Eugene? What's up, Solomon? My piece has 60 might and intensity. That's fine, though. Honestly, the loss in, what is it? The loss in your stats by a small amount is heavily outweighed by getting Tachyon Surge and damage buff on the same piece. No question, bro. Kingpin is coming. You think it's going to be the same Kingpin, though? You think it's going to be the Daredevil Kingpin, or is it going to be someone else? I heard Maestro was coming. That seems a little saucy to me. I don't know if that's going to happen, but... Well, Yelena is also coming, right? I mean, you guys saw Black Widow. Yelena has to be in this show, right? Or am I tripping? Nate Ace recently reported Vibranium perks started to work. Reverberation drive. Did you try? Oh, no. I'll have to try that. I will have to try that. If Nate Ace said it, it's probably true, but I have not tried it, and I have not. If they sneakily stealth patched it, then great. They were confirmed to not be working. Brian the Banger dev, did confirm on Twitter that they were not working, and the devs were aware. So if they are working now, they definitely didn't say it in a patch note. In any patch notes. They did say Kingpin? Okay. Mark Ruffalo as Maestro. Well, I mean, they'll probably have to do something different for Maestro, right? Oh. Kingpin would be interesting, but the question is, the question again is it going to be the Kingpin, right? Oh, jeez. Is it going to be the original Daredevil Kingpin from the show, from the Netflix show? I don't know. So I think it's semi-confirmed. I mean, it's all but confirmed that Toby and Andrew are in the movie. I don't think they're going to be in the movie very long. I think they're going to be very minor characters that only come in at the end. For like the big fight at the end. But I definitely don't think they'll have too many lines. Like, Tom Holland is still the lead man, right? It's his movie. And then so Daredevil is, which I don't really understand Daredevil in the movie, other than that it would just be for fan service, because he doesn't really make sense in the movie. I actually had a strong inkling that She-Hulk would be in the movie, right? I had a strong inkling that She-Hulk was actually going to be the lawyer, because She-Hulk's show is coming to Netflix very soon. And we know that she's going to defend super powered people that have legal trouble. That's the point of the show, right? So I just assumed it would fit to kind of slowly introduce her in Spider-Man,
AIM scientists are fighting AIM.
but
They
I
want
guess we'll
to
see.
help them.
But it's almost all but confirmed that Daredevil, Charlie Cox's Daredevil, is in the movie. But we'll see. I mean, no one actually knows until it comes out, so. There have been more fakes of this movie, fake pictures, fake images, fake leaks. There have been more probably than any movie, any Marvel movie, so we'll have to see. Yeah, well, Daredevil could be the lawyer, but yeah, it just wouldn't make sense, like, because there's nothing on the horizon for Daredevil, right? Like, there is a very real She-Hulk show that's very really coming out very soon. So why wouldn't she be the lawyer? It would make sense, you know. War Table starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time, so in literally 20 minutes, roughly. I probably won't even have enough time to finish this mission, to be honest. Right, no, he's not going to suit up. Look at this guy. Look at this dodge. What is that? I've never even seen it. I've never seen anything like that before in my life.
Scientists are safe. Sending them pickup coordinates so they can evacuate.
Damage buff is still dropping with sonic lasers. I've been farming for days. Yeah, bro, I got it. It's a rough. You got to just farm it. Yeah, it's pretty unlikely. But yep, here it is right here. I got targeted buff, laser sonic, and then expert spark, which is actually pretty nice as well. Defeating an enemy with a ranged crit gives a heroic charge burst. Doesn't come up often, but it's good when it does. When does the update come out? So the actual update comes out tomorrow, but the War Table comes out today. So we'll be watching the War Table live. And then Spider-Man itself, we will be streaming the raid tomorrow right on launch, right as soon as the update and the download and the raid is live. As soon as you can click the icon on the map, my team will be streaming it live. We will have 4. I don't want to tell you who my team is going to be just yet, but there will be 4 streamers, me and 3 others, who will all be streaming it. So you'll want to definitely watch all, so you get that multi-view, that multi-look. Yo, Kirk Cuds, what's going on, brother? How you doing? I like lasers. They may not be the best. They may not be as strong as missiles, but they're very strong. And especially with the sonic. Once you sonic a guy up, like I could take this guy down, but look, you can still do the battery effect with the sonic melees. So it works out pretty nice. See here, look at how fast you're ripping through these guys. Now, you saw that I was doing 50,000, and it tore through them like butter, but when Kate Bishop tries to do something for 50,000, it takes 50 hits through the shield. Friggin' weird, man. Very weird stuff. The other thing, I mean, we're in a little bit of a confined space right now, but if you're in a more wide open space, you can actually also get fancy with your movement here. You could do like one of these maneuvers where you're like constantly kind of in the air providing air support for the group. And I mean, with the sonic giving you your intrinsic back, you're never really going to run out. And I also have intrinsic burst on kill, chance on kill anyway, for the intrinsic burst, so that works out pretty nice. And then if you're ever in a pinch, what you can do, like you see my health, you can just go into Hulkbuster, it'll refill your health, and then just press L1 right when you're in it. So like watch my Hulkbuster. I don't need to actually use it. I'll just get back out of it and look at the bar. It gives you 90% of it back if you get out immediately. So, but I'm back at full health. So as like a panic, if you're in trouble, but you think you're gonna die, just spam your alt, right? As like a get out of jail card. That's all. Bandito, unfortunately, it has already ended. It ended about 48 minutes ago. Yo, Jason, what's going on, man? Hatrix, miss seeing you on the round table. Figured you were pushing yourself over that Godroll hammer. I actually was not on the round table, unfortunately. I did have to cancel it. So they got Garn instead, who Garn is awesome. So Garn filled in for me, and the round table itself was friggin' awesome. But I'll be on the next one, no question.
Look for a chest with gear nearby.
Jesus, I hope it's not a destroy all characters. No, okay. Is this Last Avenger standing? Sure is, bro. Blink twice if Doomkiller is in your team for the raid tomorrow. I can neither confirm nor deny who is on my team, but I promise you that it is 3 other streamers that you guys will very much appreciate, and you're gonna think it is a pretty sweet team. I am excited. It is 3 guys who I've actually not played a whole lot with, but that is soon to change. So
The team are no longer a threat.
just want Shock Iron Man. Yeah, I mean, Shock Iron Man would be cool, like doing shock on lasers and stuff. It would definitely be a very support build. Shock is probably one of the better, cold effects. But I think it'll be a pretty sweet support build for, applying shock and then letting your teammates do vibranium or do whatever warm effect they have. But yeah, Iron Man already applies shock with his support heroic, so you're not going to get too much battery effect yourself unless it's on lasers. Then you could pretty much do what I'm doing with the lasers here, and then just go plasma with the melee swipes. That'll work too.
Destroy the turbines.
Just shock on repulsors. Oh, repulsors, jeez. I personally don't use repulsors,
Aim has sent
but they can be good. They can be fine. I have used them and they've been okay in the past. They're just not like my go-to choice. You know what I mean? That's all. That's the only thing.
that turbine is finished. Well done. I'm beaming with pride.
War table starts in 11 minutes. Sure does. But I'll check it because assuming we'll just go right into it, but they might do one of those things where, it starts quote unquote, but then it's a half hour. They'll start starting in a half hour. I don't know that they're going to do that, but they might. If they do, then we'll just continue doing this. But we'll see. Or it'll just start live and that'll be that. Still have no luck finding a team for the raid. Bro, join my Discord. Obviously, I don't think it's tough. I don't know who's committing to doing the raid or who's doing what for their very first raid. So it might be tough to get a team right this second.
Excellent.
But definitely join my Discord. The link is in the description. I'll put the link in the chat as well. But we're definitely going to be doing a lot of raids. Not only raids with viewers on stream, but also I've got the LFG set up in the Discord, so people can, squad up with other people to do the raid when it does come out. Obviously people are going to need, it's going to be tough for the very first raid because you're going to really want a team that, is going to be able to help figure it out with you, especially if guides aren't coming out too often. I'm going to do a raid guide, but I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to be the very first raid guide that comes out. I'm more than willing to bet that Tony Bing will put out the guide for the raid first, which Tony always puts out the best guides anyway, so that would be the guide to have. But my guide's probably going to be maybe a no-nonsense guide where it's just the basic stuff, things you need to know, things to look out for. But obviously I'll have to do the raid multiple times to actually get that level of detail, right? So that's what I'm thinking. Discord's blowing up. Yeah, it's great. That's awesome. I gotta figure out the whole Discord. My Discord's in a bad spot because I just disabled the bot because I couldn't edit it. So I disabled the MeSeeks bot that does all the introduction type stuff. But I can't actually enable a new bot because my Discord is all screwed up. It is asking me to like register my account, but I don't remember my password, and it keeps telling me I'm already registered. So like I can't make a lot of like integration changes to my Discord right now, so it might be a little bare bones for a minute, but we'll figure it out. But either way, it works. You can join it, and the LFG works and all that stuff. So it'll be Gucci. It'll be Gucci Scoochie Broochie.
Another enemy defeated. Team are no longer.
Biggest fear is artificial difficulty. No, I disagree. I think the difficulty will be fine. The biggest difficulty for just any random 4 groups of people that get together will be the puzzles. If there's even an element of someone has to go in another room and call out a symbol, or like call out when something flashes, and then the other group has to do something based on when something happens, that already right there is gonna screw up a number of teams. So we'll see.
Head for the terminal so I can get you inside the lab.
Yo, Pennywise, what's going on, man? What has the chance of dropping the Iron Man exotics that do cryo? I'm actually not sure. I thought they recently added cryo to Iron Man, but I believe it's a random roll. I don't know if there's an exotic for it. If there is, I don't know. It might be part. It sounds like a hive mind piece, so probably Mega Hive. That would be my guess. I don't think anything like either specifically drops cryo, or if it does, it's just it can just randomly roll on any exotic that comes with an element.
That helps, thank you.
You still doing the method to get to 175? No, not the Day of the Remains. That is not gonna work this time around. It doesn't. You're not gonna just be able to straight level like you would for any new character. You'll be able to get to 140 with Spider-Man doing the Day of the Remains. However, the only way to get to 175 is actually by doing the raid. So doing the raid will get you gear that drops up to 160, I think. No, 150. Gear that drops 150, and then you're going to get, of course, the plus 10 from the major artifact. That's staying. So from there, you can get up to 150 gear from doing the raid and the OLT every week. And then after that, you're going to want to do, once you're at 160 now, because of course, with the, with the extra thing, you're going to be at 160. And then you can do the Elite Raid, which will get your gear up to 165 from 150. So 15 extra levels there. Again, plus the 10 from the major artifact, turns into 175.
That helps, thank you.
Look at this guy's just dodging. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Where can I watch from the beginning? Well, it hasn't started yet. If you mean just the stream, you might just be able to back up on your thing. But the war table itself isn't happening until another 3 minutes. So right after this, we'll get in there and see what the dealio is. And if it's another half hour until it comes out, then we'll finish up this Mega Hive. But otherwise, yeah.
Gotta get something off my chest. That helps, thank you.
Soldier, what's going on, man? How do you stay overcharged for so long in your Iron Man? I just use all of the perks that give the extra overcharge. There's like 2 different perks that add a couple of seconds. If you mean how do I just get it regularly, I have lethal empowerment here, so 37% chance defeating an enemy's grants an intrinsic burst. If you just fill it up like randomly, like if you just fill it up due to an intrinsic burst, you go into the same overcharge as if you activate your L1. So you can just get it in that way. Patrick says usually grind out level Out of the Shadows. It's surprising people. Yeah, that's the other one. The Day of the Remains and the Out of the Shadows are like the two that you can do. I personally use Day of the Remains, but Out of the Shadows perfectly fine too. All right, hang on, boys. Let me just bop, and let me just see Twitch if we're live here. They are. Looks like they're not live yet. But we'll give them a minute. They're live saying stream starting soon, so hang on. That might be super loud. How's that for like a volume? I just want like a generally decent volume for the game, for the stream, their audio, and also our audio. And then let's do, if we do display capture, bring it here. Okay. How's that look, guys? So now I'm gonna have to, I'm just watching chat through my phone. But this should be it. Let me get my headset on. Should be happening any minute now. Yo, Dead Uzi, that method is actually not gonna work. Oh, they're live.
Hi everyone.
All right, let's go.
Hello. Can you see us? Can you hear us? My body is ready. I see that.
Let's go.
Hello. Hi.
Hey guys.
Hi everyone.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm excited, guys. Hope you're excited.
I think Phil might have missed me, but I don't know for sure.
I totally missed you.
Did you miss me?
So I may not be responding to chat as much,
Well, I missed
at
you
least
too.
until the end, but I will. We can
all
all
right,
listen to this
so
together.
How is everyone doing today?
Good. How are you,
Go.
Andy?
Today's the day. Awesome. We're super excited.
Wow, they really got the
Obviously,
hardcore
today
slow
is the
mode
launch
on.
party for
They got the full minute slow mode.
Board table where we're going to be showing more of Spider-Man, more of Claw Raid. You guys might recognize the voice of who's talking about the Claw Raid once we premiere the board table.
Alex
Talking to
Kendi.
Sean Chiplock, who is the voice actor for our version of Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers,
Yeah.
and then we are going to be talking to our combat team to discuss a little bit more about Spider-Man, what he can do. I think I'm going to show a few more emotes too during that section, so that's going to be fun. Hi, Nicole. Nicole's saying hi.
Just turn the volume up a tiny bit.
All right. So, with that said, you guys ready for the war table? We're just gonna get straight to it.
Come on, Andy.
Phil, are you ready for the war table?
Come on, Andy.
I'm so ready. I put myself in it.
Exactly.
See, Phil doesn't give a shit.
All right,
Phil's just
so
like,
let's
just
do
show
the
it,
war
man.
table. We will
Andy's
see you
always
guys
like, let's see
after the war
something.
table is done. It's probably gonna be like 12, 13 minutes. But Phil and I will try and be very, very quiet so you guys can actually watch it. All right. I'm gonna mute ourselves. Phil, I'm gonna mute you right now.
Yep.
Turn it
I'm
up a
gonna mute
little
myself
bit.
as well.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
What in my name was that?
That was Claw.
He's alive.
Whoa.
Wakanda will fall the way it rose. Spider-Man now.
Hey guys, we have a visitor. Spider-Man's been fighting baddies in New York for like ever.
AIM's working on something big. Like chemical weapons big.
There is nowhere my power does not reach.
Avengers, assemble.
Whoa!
A new threat emerges in Wakanda that will test the strongest teams. So it's time to reassemble your friends and bring your A game. Welcome to a special Marvel's Avengers War Table Deep Dive focusing on what's coming in our patch 2.2. Starting tomorrow, players on all platforms can venture into our first raid, Discordant Sound. Take on Claw in a brand new endgame Avengers Initiative adventure that will require coordination from your high-level strike team now more than ever. Also included in 2.2 are improvements across the game to systems like gear, cosmetics, and missions. PlayStation 4 and 5 players can also play Spider-Man fighting alongside the Avengers with your friends. Let's get started with a first look at Discordant Sound.
Let's go.
Hey there, I'm Phil Therian, gameplay director for Marvel's Avengers.
I know this
The
guy.
new raid Discordant Sound is endgame content designed to challenge the highest level strike teams and is unlike anything you've encountered before in a game. With that said, there are some mild spoilers for the War for Wakanda expansion ahead, so you have been warned. As you and your friends descend into the Great Mound, you'll face elite enemies and puzzles that will require serious coordination to progress. Our story picks up directly after the events of War for Wakanda. The newly appointed Queen Regent Shuri informs Black Panther and the Avengers of a grave new threat. Corrupted vibranium has infested the Great Mound and is beginning to spread through the Wakandan jungle, revealing that the Sonic monster Claw has returned. Our heroes decide to enter the Great Mound only to find it swarming with Claw's forces and a large sonic barrier preventing anyone from getting inside. With the fate of their country hanging in the balance, Wakanda's greatest warriors must join forces with Earth's mightiest heroes to stop the Mammoth Claw from destroying Wakanda. Strike teams who brave the Great Mound's dangers will encounter all new threats never seen before in Marvel's Avengers. Teams will have to explore and solve cooperative puzzle rooms while defeating some of our most difficult encounters in an experience that will challenge both your mind and combat skills. You'll have to the mound yourself to find all its secrets. But here's just a taste of what you can expect when we open the doors to the raid tomorrow.
Yo, is that a takedown on a spider? Oh my god, stop it. Symbols, that's puzzles. Yeah. These puzzles are going to be what people struggle with.
In addition to bringing players our first ever raid, we're also making some major updates to the game systems. For the first time, Marvel's Avengers is raising the maximum power level that your heroes can achieve. Until now, heroes have maxed out at a power level of 150, but the changes coming in 2.2 will allow heroes to reach a new maximum of 175. There are a few ways to reach the new power level cap, but it won't be easy. You'll need dedication and persistence. Rewards from the Omega level threat family reunion and Discordant Sound weekly objectives can now be 10 levels higher, up to power level 150. As always, a fully boosted major artifact can grant you 10 extra levels. Once you've hit power level 160,
there's the raid, there's the icon.
The elite version of Discordant Sound, which rewards gear up to the new power level hard cap. Lastly, we're excited to say you no longer have to pick a single hero to gear up at a time, as the weekly objectives, the Omega level threat and raid, are now completable once per week with each hero. To help you max your characters as efficiently as possible, new weekly objectives for the Omega level threat family reunion and Discordant Sound will reward players with gear that will be guaranteed to be a higher power level until you hit the cap for those objectives. In addition to raising the power level cap, updates to the gear system are also on the way. Until now, gear has only been upgradable by 10 power levels. Starting tomorrow, our new system will allow you to upgrade any piece of gear that starts at power level 100 and epic rarity or higher an unlimited number of times until it reaches the power level cap. If you've been holding on to an underpowered piece of gear with the perfect rolls for your build, now you can ensure it stays usable as you make your way to the new max power level. We're
That's
also
great.
simplifying the way that you use resources to upgrade gear. Starting with 2.2, the only resources you'll need to upgrade a piece of gear are fragments, upgrade modules, and an unwanted higher level piece of gear. The cost to upgrade a piece of gear will increase the higher the target power level. Finally, we're introducing an exciting new way to collect and earn some of our coolest cosmetics with our brand new Shipments system. Shipments will contain a randomized collection of cosmetics and resources that update on a rotating basis, with any duplicates of cosmetics you've already unlocked converted into fragments. You'll be able to buy shipments with earnable units or earn a free one every day through multiplayer play. There's no guesswork though. You'll be able to see everything in a shipment before you spend your hard-earned units on it. Best yet, opening enough shipments in a cycle will guarantee a top-tier reward. Check out our patch notes on the blog at playavengers.com for full details on these and other exciting changes.
Spider-Man.
PlayStation players, assemble your team of Avengers. Spider-Man is joining your roster. Our team has been hard at work crafting an all-new hero event for Marvel's Avengers exclusively for PlayStation.
Can I come in now?
The high-flying wall crawler brings a completely new experience to the Avengers with an acrobatic combat style and a suite of new powers, making him a great way to see the entire Avengers initiative through a new mask. In the Spider-Man with Great Power Hero event, Peter Parker learns of a deadly plot and must partner with the Avengers to stop AIM from acquiring technology that could make their synthoid army unstoppable. Insistent on keeping his identity hidden, Spider-Man forms a tentative friendship with Miss Marvel and Black Widow while learning the new dynamic of working in a team. With a threat so grave that no superhero could face it alone, Spider-Man must team up with the Avengers to face his new challenge head-on. Our Peter Parker is in his early 20s. He's responsible to a fault,
Early 20s.
lighthearted but distant, and bears the burden of his double life as Spider-Man. A gifted chemical engineer, Peter is recruited for an internship with AIM alongside his smart and savvy classmate Liz Allen. However, Peter soon begins to suspect AIM of mistreating Inhumans, leading him to seek out the Avengers' help as Spider-Man. When his quest to expose AIM uncovers the involvement of Allen Chemical, Liz becomes Spider-Man's eyes and ears and finds her loyalty to her family tested. Jumping right into the With Great Power Hero event is simple, whether you've been playing since launch or you've just picked up the game. Click the option from the war table within the Avengers Initiative. You don't need to play through the original Reassemble campaign or any previous operations to unlock Spider-Man as a playable hero. You'll be able to take on new Spidey-specific challenges and earn Spider-Man-themed rewards to help you and your team in the fight. Spider-Man offers unique gameplay options that make
let's
him
see the
stand out from
skills.
our
That's
other
what we
heroes,
need.
which you'll experience firsthand from the moment you pick up the controller and begin traversing biomes with his signature web slinging, wall running, and wall crawling. Core to Spider-Man's
that looks
gameplay
fine.
are his webs. Not only can he use them to swing and zip anywhere, but he uses them in combat to quickly reach enemies, maneuver enemies to his advantage, and to web up enemies. Spider-Man brings a unique status effect to the game with his web shooters. All of his web-based attacks build up a web status meter on enemies. Once the meter is full, enemies become webbed, immobilizing them and making them more vulnerable to attacks from all the Avengers. All of Spider-Man's ranged attacks and heroics build up web status, and his mastery tree and gear allow players to further customize the effects of the web status debuff. Combined with his ability to perform takedowns regularly, Spider-Man becomes an excellent support option for your team of heroes. The Spider Skirmish light combo is designed to build up stun damage and juggle enemies in the air. Pair it with his signature attack Take to the Sky to launch enemies up and continue the air combo. While on the wall, Predator Instincts gives you the ability to perform a powerful leaping punch that deals bonus impact damage. Evade an enemy attack while the Spider Sense warning is visible to activate defensive armor. Evade at the last second to perform a perfect evade, which leaves the enemy vulnerable to follow-up attacks. While dodging, use Think Fast to perform a low spinning kick that can trip enemies, making them easier to combo. Or Double Fire to quickly build up web status on the enemy. Quick Reflexes and Web Counter are stronger versions of these attacks and can be performed after a perfect evade. The Wreckage skill is Spidey's intrinsic meter that charges up by dealing out melee damage and avoiding enemy attacks that drain it. Once the meter is full, Spider-Man can perform a takedown on an enemy without having to stun them, even if the enemy is in the air. Both his assault
Nice.
and
That's
support
insane.
heroics are heavily reliant on his technical expertise and gadget-making skills. His web bomb assault heroic is used to web up large groups of enemies, while his spider drone support heroic zips around the battlefield, laying down cover fire with web projectiles.
Also
Upgrades
great.
improve damage output or provide defensive bonuses like willpower regeneration and defensive armor. The ultimate heroic Wrecking Ball creates a massive ball of webs that slams into the ground, smashing enemies under it and knocking back nearby foes. Once upgraded, Intrinsic Energy auto-generates, allowing Spidey to use his wreckage skills more often. Triggering the ultimate heroic also provides a heroic buff that reduces damage and increases damage dealt.
You see that he's got webbing
Spider-Man
on
is a
his
hero
hands
with the
and
same
feet.
amount of depth as our on-disc Avengers. You'll be able to collect up to 40 new outfits, including
Ooh, look at that
these.
one.
Spider-Man's unique personality is captured in over 20 emotes you can unlock.
The Skinematic
Many of these
universe.
can be earned through gameplay, but players can also purchase cosmetics of their favorite heroes. Our first year has brought great changes to our story and the Avengers Initiative. Our journey began with Kamala's single-player story and advanced with both Kate and Clint operations, and our War for Wakanda expansion. Our roster continues to grow, creating exciting and better experiences for teams of players to live out their heroic dreams. Now it's time for you and your crew to test your mettle against Claw, and for PlayStation players to take your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a spin. As always, thank you for telling us what you think. Make sure to visit playavengers.com for our weekly blog, where you can find everything from patch notes to tips and fun content that you created. Until then, we'll see you online and in the game.
That looked great. That looked fantastic. I loved every second of that. Walmart Spider-Man? I don't know. I think he looks great, man. I don't know what you'd expect. You might be a little too hard to please if that's the case. Can't fucking wait to play. Yeah, the status effect, the web status effect looks really interesting. I mean, obviously all of this we'll have to actually play as him to see. I think a lot of people are passing judgment a little too early on this. Like, you can't even physically play. I mean, I feel like the people giving the harshest judgment might just be on Xbox or PC, which, you know, is what it is. The Clone Saga.
Hi,
yeah, for real.
everyone.
That is true.
Hello, we're back.
We're back, and we have a special guest.
Who's that?
Who is that?
Who is
Is
that?
that the Spider-Man voice guy?
Who's that
voice
guy?
sounds familiar.
Alright.
Vid. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, I'll be doing
we
a
have
build
Sean
video
Chipbuck with
for
us. He is
Spider-Man.
our
Absolutely.
voice actor
As soon as
for
I
our
can
version
get a
of
good
Spider-Man.
build
Yes,
together.
You guys all recognize him.
Hello, chat.
I'm not sure
watching
exactly what
you.
it's going to look like, but
I got
yeah,
the
we'll
tech.
eventually
It is
get a
Spidey. He
build
is looking at
together.
chat. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing pretty okay. I'm sure everyone is, finally winding back down or winding back up for the work week after Thanksgiving
Let's see what
weekend.
people think. I didn't
Ours
actually
was
look at the
relatively
actual chat.
uneventful, except for the grease fire that created more smog in our
it's super
kitchen than
hardcore
Los
slow
Angeles
mode.
on an average day. So,
Wow.
but you know what? It made the bacon-wrapped dates have that perfect smoky quality to them, just like Grandma used to make. It was fantastic.
That ain't good.
So a nostalgic Thanksgiving. Then.
I thought the raid looked
Yes.
really good. The raid looks
Nice.
really fucking
Well, I'm
sweet. I
sure
cannot
everyone
wait to
is
get in
super
the raid.
excited to hear
That's
from
what
you.
I'm
We
more
have a few
excited for than
questions for
Spider-Man.
you,
Of course, I will
in
be
this
playing
segment
obviously a
of the
ton
War
of
Table,
Spider-Man,
if
but
you're ready.
he doesn't
Sure,
add like
bring 'em on.
anything endgame,
Phil,
right?
do you
The
wanna
whole
start
adding
us off?
endgame via the
Sure.
raid is really what
Alright, Sean,
is going to
so
bring the
super,
game to the
super
next
hard
level for
question.
replayability. You know,
Started.
if you were just playing Spider-Man and just doing
Spidey's
the same
super
thing
iconic.
over and
Like,
over,
what's your
like
take
what
on
does that
Spidey?
matter?
Like,
You know,
what's your personal touch that you're bringing to him?
Oh,
I think
man.
it's a W.
So I've always really enjoyed because I've experienced
Animations
many
are really
iterations of
clunky and
Spider-Man. I've seen,
heavy,
the
and
MCU,
he's so slow. See,
version
I
of him.
disagree. I feel
used
like
to
you're
read
just
comics
making
when I
that
was
up
younger,
because you might have heard
when
someone
I was
else say
waiting for my
that.
dental appointments.
Um,
So I've seen
we
both the
literally,
more
I mean, we're
serious and
literally
comedic
watching
side,
like a
and I
random
think I
video
kinda
of
took on
him.
a lot
I think you
of-
need to
of
get
what
him in
my
yourself
dad,
and see how he plays
talked
before
to
you
me
can
about
make that
he
type
enjoyed
of
Spider-Man, which
judgment.
is that yes, Spider-Man does tend to have, or he does have superpowers as opposed to someone like Batman who makes do with gadgets rather than just superpowers. But it's the idea that Spider-Man is still kind of a kid at the end of the day. And I don't mean like a minor, although in some iterations he is rather young, but just the idea that he's always at odds with the life that he has to have as a superhero with the life that
She-Hulk's
going
gonna
to
be better than Spider-Man, you
one of
think?
the youngest members of any superhero team that he ends up
We'll
being
see.
part
We don't
of.
know anything about She-Hulk yet.
And I that's kind of what affected
Yo,
the
Claw's
that
voice
I
was
took
really
for this
good. That
role,
was a
in that when I
sweet.
get
That
really
raid
excited,
seems like it's gonna be
my
legit.
natural pitch tends to be higher up here, versus when I'm like really relaxed and laid back, it tends to be much deeper. So you don't hear.
Yo,
any-
Warlord, they
a
showed the
lot
raid,
this
a little
in
bit of it.
Spider-Man,
Yeah,
I
little
presume.
pieces. It
So,
looks like there's gonna be
I
some
thought that
puzzles.
It was a nice way of
It's
showcasing that
completely
he's
unique area, which
excited
is awesome.
to some degree about
And the
access that his powers give him and the fact that he can
the
help others,
actual
but there's a lot of sadness
enemies
buried
look pretty
behind it.
interesting
There's
as well.
There's a lot of, this isn't just something that I get to have fun with and get to protect people with. Now I am responsible for these people's well-being, because if I don't do my job, a lot of pain could happen. And that's really rough to think about on a daily basis, especially when you're still trying to figure out who you are as an individual. So I feel like a lot of my performance for Spider-Man actually played a lot on my approach to the role itself, which was confidence of I am capable of doing this, with that nervousness of I really hope I don't screw it up though, because it would be really bad if I did. So
Well,
nothing
definitely
against
not
this
screwing
guy,
it up,
but like,
and it's awesome. Just
does
talking
anyone
to you, it's
actually
like I'm fucking
care
Spider-Man,
about
which
like
is
how he
awesome.
felt
Thank
about
you.
doing the voice lines for
Same.
Spider-Man?
I think this is actually our first time, both of our first time meeting you, so this is pretty awesome.
I personally
We're meeting our
don't really
Spider-Man.
care about the voice
I saw some people in
acting,
chat saying you have
so
the
we'll
perfect
see.
voice for him, so
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
agree.
As you
I
can
agree.
tell, I've got the disguise on right now. I can't take these off. I gotta protect myself and the people that I love.
Exactly. That's very Spider-Man. So during the whole process, did you know you would be voicing Spider-Man? Like, did you do any auditions? And what was your reaction when you found out it was Spider-Man?
I did do the audition process, which it honestly is a little anticlimactic if you ask for a breakdown of it, because, whether it's an audition for Spider-Man or an audition for like an indie studio or a AAA game studio, it tends to be the same process. Either we get the auditions at home and we record them, or if they want us to come in studio and record on their equipment, we'll do that. But I will admit, like, there were at least 2 instances. No, because I finished my audition.
Okay.
And I walked out, and I'm not going to name names because I want it to stay private. But there was a colleague of mine sitting at the table outside waiting for their turn. And I was like, oh, hey, how you doing, bud? Like, how's you been? How's the family? And as I walked away, I went, man, he's going to be great as Spider-Man. I could feel the vibes from him where I was like, oh, he would make a fantastic one. I can already tell it would be incredible. So imagine my surprise when they reached out and said, hey, we'd like you to be our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And I'm like, what? Like, are you sure? And it was something that kind of made sense the further I went along, because I realized, hey, you know what? That nervousness is something that they can play off of. It depends. At the end of the day, it's a sense of teamwork. It's what is the client looking for? What kind of performance are they looking for the game? And
Call
it
me
may
crazy.
just
He
so
might be
happen that
overthinking it a little
the
bit.
approach that I took, which was, kind of
I don't know how many
more
voice lines
nervous,
Spider-Man's even gonna have in
more
the game.
unsure but willing to learn actor also worked for unsure but willing to learn Spider-Man. And I really appreciated the opportunity as well, and I wonder if this played into it, because this role was definitely something that I knew would be a challenge for me, like being more nuanced. Typically in a lot of Western style games, you're not going to be as exaggerated as you might be in stuff like JRPGs, and so I knew going into this that this was going to be a challenge for me to understand when I could put on those moments of being a hero.
I think people are
and when I
mad
needed
that they
to
didn't
just
get Josh
relax
Keaton
and let myself be vulnerable
for
and take
the
my time with
Spider-Man,
the
but
lines that I
honestly,
was
it's
saying.
like I said,
And
like
I
Spider-Man's
think
not going to have
having
a
to
lot
think
of voice
about
lines
what I was
anyway.
saying and how I was saying
So it's not like
again,
a
you're gonna
game
hear
where
this
you
a lot,
need
worked
like
out
a
really
perfect
well
Spider-Man
with
voice
Peter Parker
actor
Spider-Man trying to figure out who he can trust,
tell
how
a
much he can
story.
say,
It's
what
literally
people.
he's literally a hero event. It's
sorting
not even a
through his
DLC.
emotions
He's
in the
gonna
middle
have
of
like
trying to prevent entire
I'd be
countries from being
surprised if he
wiped
had
off the map.
5
It
lines.
was a very unique experience and one that I'm very grateful for.
Aw,
That's awesome.
that's really heartwarming.
So hey, you were talking about like reading the comics at your dentist appointments and stuff. Like how far does your comic knowledge go? Like how familiar were you with Spider-Man before all this?
That one, the comic knowledge doesn't go back as far. I remember it was a lot of the, I want to say like earlier era, like Mysterio.
Haters got left out in the cold. It's true, man. The haters tried, but here we are.
My biggest memory.
They keep moving the
Spider-Man was
goalposts.
actually
Generally,
from
they
the
thought the
Where's
game was
Waldo
ending in
book that I
2020.
poured
Then they thought the game
over
was
and
ending
over and
after
over
Black
again,
Panther.
trying to
Now
find-
they think the
'cause it was
game's
one of those
ending
books
after
that had, like-
Spider-Man.
well, I think they all might have
They're
had
just gonna
it, but it
keep
had, like, the
thinking
main
that the
villain
game
you
is
were trying to
ending.
find, but then it had a
But,
bunch of,
you know,
like,
they're
little
trying. They're doing their
insignias,
best.
calling cards, or,
What
like,
can they do?
special, like Spider-Man themed items that you had to find, and like
okay.
I'm the person that would have like the book up to their face like this, like, where are you? I've been looking at you for 15 minutes. You know, I was thinking it. You know, maybe
This is
someone,
pretty
like,
cringy,
was a
but
troll and, like,
I'm only hanging
photoshopped
on
it
because
right
I
before it went out to
believe
print and actually took
they're
out
gonna do
the
some
items
gameplay of
actually
Spider-Man and like go
Just to
through
mess
his
with you.
skills
like the person who puts two of
and
the
his
same
gear,
puzzle piece into
but
an
I could be
1800
wrong.
piece
I don't
puzzle,
want to
and the
miss
last
it if
one
that
you
does
actually need
happen.
wasn't ever there to begin with.
But
They know
this
what they're
is
doing.
this is pretty bad.
Coffeehead says,
People
"I
are
remember
dropping
that
like
Where's Waldo.
flies out
Good,
of the
we might be
chat.
the
They went
only
from
two people who
4,000 to
do."
2,500 people just because people clearly just wanted to see the
I think I'd be
actual
super
raid,
frustrated. Like
the
all the
in-game
Where's
stuff.
Waldo
No one cares
things, I
about
was always
an
super
interview
frustrated,
with a
but they were
voice
super
actor.
fun also. I think it would take me
We've all
like
played Where's Waldo at some point.
exactly.
Right, like in some waiting room somewhere, like there's nothing better to do. You just
That's
Where's Waldo?
probably why my eyes are as bad as they are, is because I had my nose like pressed against the spine of the book,
Constantly
going,
looking.
"Where are you, Waldo?"
Yep.
Speaking of like your eyes pressing against things and looking at books and everything, like what was your preparations like for doing this voice, for doing Spider-Man? Did you have like any sort of routine, or did you just like I'm just gonna do it?
Nope.
No, that
He went
makes
in for
sense.
the one recording
So
and
obviously
did
the
it all
nervousness was
there.
And thankfully I had a past experience with other roles that taught me, hey, if you're ever unsure of what you're supposed to be doing, don't be afraid to just relinquish control over to your director, whose job it is to guide you where they need you to go. And then once you're feeling more confident, you can take the reins, or in this case, the web strings, and you know, take it back and run with it.
Wow.
I
This
think
Spider-Man's
a
got
big
jokes.
part was, warm-ups are important, of course. Anyone that wants to get into this career, you want to make sure you do your vocal warm-ups. If you're going to be shouting, if you're going to be screaming, you got to have the pipes relax. It's the muscle like any other part of your body. Outside of that, for me, when it comes to playing roles that have more heavy emotional beats, I try to pull from real life experiences. And this might hit chat a little hard, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a trigger warning. If you're uncomfortable with like topics of like death and loss, then you might want to step out for like 2 minutes. So one thing that really connected me to Spider-Man's struggle is that I lost my mom when I was a freshman in high school. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had this massive amount of responsibility dumped onto me. You know, I was helping out my dad, I was caring for her near end of life, I was studying for like IB/AP college prep classes while also dealing with a single father family, and having to be like the other big man of the house, and that was really, really stressful. But it was a responsibility that I had to take on. And so that was something that I was able to take with me into the booth of like, okay, well, what did that feel like? What kind of weight did that put on your shoulders? You know, knowing that you couldn't just say, I don't want to do this, and that you had to rise up to the occasion while you were genuinely, as I imagine most sophomores in high school are, still trying to figure out what the heck you want to do with your life, and still trying to make friends, and still trying to socialize. And I feel like that actually gave me a legit foundation, because it gave me something to pull back on whenever I wasn't sure how Spider-Man might react, and go, well, how would I feel, or how would he feel in this moment? You know, where are his priorities lying? What's his emotional state? Is he going to be more internal? Is he going to be complaining externally about this is too much, this isn't fair? And I think having that as
I don't really know what to
baseline
make
that
of
I can
this.
fall back on, I never actually felt lost. If I felt like I wasn't grasping the situation, I would go back to that baseline, to that emotional state, and then let my director tweak it as necessary to get where we needed to be.
Wow, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. It's amazing that you managed to leverage all that into something positive, right? That's a really amazing thing to do.
Nothing like says acting, like taking emotional trauma and turning it into a performance you get paid for. Let's go.
It's a good way to look at it. Okay, so Sean, playing Spider-Man, what do you think was your favorite part and then the most challenging part?
So the most challenging part definitely has to be this seems like such a simple thing, but it's understanding when to take your breaths. No, because when you're dealing with a longer monologue, you know, if you just speed through it, if you just read the text,
Okay,
without
Spider-Man
stopping and
long
following
monologue
it's
confirmed.
gonna sound rehearsed. It's gonna sound like you're reading.
We'll see how
script.
long Spider-Man's
But if you
longest
take
monologue in this DLC
every
is.
moment to say every word with a lot of emphasis. I'm sure chat was already like starting. They felt their eyelids starting to droop. They're like, I don't want to listen to that. Like, imagine if there's like a 5-minute Avengers scene, and like 4.5 minutes of it is Spider-Man just talking at that pace. You'd all zone out instantly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it's so interesting, and it's so challenging figuring out how to embody that character and play pretend with the scenario that you're not actually a part of without
This is
either
painful.
droning it on or going through it so quickly that people don't believe you at all. So that was definitely the parts where I would rely
I
on
want to like
my
put in
reps, like,
chat
oh, you know, I
like,
really
is
liked
there
that
gameplay
approach, but if you
coming?
speed it up a
But
little,
like, I
slow
don't want to
down
be
a little,
rude.
you have more time with this. Definitely the parts where I think I had the most fun were any time when I got to tap in again.
I feel like this
where a
guy's
lot of my
unbelievably
foundation
passionate
of Spidey knowledge came
for
from.
like the 5
Or any
minutes
of
of
the times
dialogue he
that
actually
I got
had.
to bring in some of that comedic Spider-Man.
There's literally going to
There's
be
a little
like
bit of sadness behind it
probably
because I
5
said,
minutes
I
worth
said
of
elsewhere
actual
that
talk
Spider-Man is the
of
kind of character that
story
uses comedy to hide his fear.
in like cutscenes, but
and there
then
are lots of
any other
instances where
voice
I
lines he
use,
recorded
a
are just like
chuckle or a
repeatable
nervous
voice
laugh or a
lines
small
during
joke to try
combat,
and
right?
mask his nervousness. But there's also a lot of moments where the kid in him gets to come out. There's one particular instance, I'm not going to spoil too much, but I know that there's elevator banter in these games. And I know I've mentioned it before, so this should be safe. But he ends up talking with one of the other Avengers, and he mentions, like, what's your favorite style of music or something like that. And Peter Parker is a really big fan of jazz. Now, the line didn't actually call
There you
for
go,
this,
Peter Parker,
but
fan of
I got
jazz.
so
Did
flustered
you
at
guys
this
know
idea
that?
because I am a huge fan of jazz. Jazz is like one of the
Nice.
most relaxing genres to me. I got so flustered at the idea that this person doesn't appreciate jazz. Look at me, I'm already doing the thing.
You're doing that.
Anyway, I got so flustered that
doing
he
it
didn't
so wrong.
appreciate jazz that instead of just saying, how could you not like jazz? I'm like, how could you not like, and I start like breaking out into doing like an instrumental of a jazz song, like making all of the instrument noises with my mouth. And it's one character interaction. Like, you're gonna see it once and be like, okay, well, now I've seen it. It's gonna be a repeat if it ever
It's an
shows up
elevator
again.
line.
But
Confirmed
that's just
elevator
one of those
line.
moments where I'm like, that's a Spidey thing, you know? When he's just like, how can you not enjoy, like, when it comes in, it's all like, and I feel like that's one of those moments that people are really gonna cherish. So I hope that people will check out the banters. I hope especially that people will check out if you get any of those unique poses. Because I believe I had to, in many cases, I had to ad-lib certain things for what he said when he did the poses, and I'm really proud of that. And this is either gonna win me a lot of cred,
Okay.
or lose me a lot of cred with chat. This one is specifically for chat. For those of you who watched the trailer, that corny line at the end where
all
he
of
goes,
us.
"Avengers assemble, bad guys scatter," that was my suggestion.
Really?
It was. No, I said, because everyone likes the quote, "Avengers assemble."
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, everyone enjoys like that iconic quote. But I noticed at the end of the video that you've got one bad guy left. So I was like, that's a funny contrast between having the whole group versus a single guy. So I was like, hey, let me try this. I was like, "Avengers assemble, bad guy scatter." You know, like I thought it was like the cheesy superhero line that I was allowed because he obviously knows he has all the
Okay.
control in the situation. And I know just by
Well, there
saying
you go.
that, like, half
Did
the
anyone
chat is
catch
gonna be
that
like, "Oh,
even in
that
the
was so
trailer?"
cheesy, you know, that's so him, I love it." The other half of the chat is gonna be like, "This is horrible. You ruined the character. How could you?" Oh
No,
well.
that is amazing. I'm gonna tell you, like, so I didn't know that, and so I write like a lot of the social copy for our posts and our trailers, and that was like I like to use quotes from our trailers. That was
You
the
drinking
line,
milk?
like Avengers Assemble, you know, bad guys scatter. That was a line I picked out of the entire trailer to represent us like debuting that trailer. So it's some amazing lore for me right now too.
Right.
I had no idea that.
And You don't have to worry.
Chat,
is definitely behind you.
Stop fighting, chat. This is the war table. No fighting. Can't fight in here.
No fighting, everyone.
I don't think anyone's fighting.
I also can't wait to hear the instrument thing because I
think we just want to get to more gameplay and info about
team,
the raid and Spider-Man.
Especially like Nicole, Hannah,
I'm
Jess.
strongly concerned that we're not going to get much more past this.
Spider-Man ones are like apparently
seems like they're going to stick on this guy for another 45
If
minutes.
you are able to somehow get a good clip of the elevator banter with that jazz scene, please send it to me. I might even give you a little gift. We'll see. I don't know. First person who manages to send a high quality of it to me, I might have a surprise for you. But I would appreciate it so much.
Surprise! It got cut from the game.
Where can they send something to you? What's your?
They
what's
didn't
your
put it
Twitter
in the final cut of the game.
My Twitter is @SonicMega, SONICMEGA. You can send hate mail, praise, whatever you want over there. My DMs are open. Just be responsible about it. I also have a Twitch, which is the same, twitch.tv/@SonicMega, in which I stream 5 days a week whenever I can manage. I'm a huge fan of dungeon crawlers. We've been doing Shadowverse Champions Battle. If you guys want to join in tonight, I'm going to be doing Jackbox 8. I haven't touched it in weeks, and I'm saying I haven't touched it. I hope to see you guys there.
Here he is.
But yeah, Twitter's the big place. That's where all the announcements happen. Twitch is the other big one. I do a lot of giveaways there when it comes to games and merch.
We're followed.
So one of those two.
We'll do Jackbox Party Pack.
Nice. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your time, but
thank God.
Is there anything else you want to say to our players, to our chat, to Twitch chat right now before you head off?
Thank you guys for supporting, the franchise. I love your passion. I welcome your feedback because I know that no performance can be perfect. And I know that Spider-Man is a very iconic role for a lot of you, and just the superhero universe can be very iconic. And I'm very blessed and humbled to have the chance to embody this role of a character that as I found out throughout the project, I connected with a lot more than I initially figured. But either way, I hope that you guys have fun. That's what's important at the end of the day, is that you feel like you got your money's worth. And if you
money's
find
worth.
Out that you enjoy the stuff that I
the
do,
game is $10 and the update is free.
I hope to hear from you more.
I hope you got your money's worth.
My DM's open if you wanna talk shop.
You get your money's worth on this free update.
Into your world, and I hope that you enjoy my presence in it.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. It was great meeting you.
Yeah. Thank you. So good questions. Good questions.
Good questions. All right. We'll be right back, everyone, with our combat team. So I'm going to transition to our BRB screen for just a minute.
Thanks, Sean.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Sean. Combat team, that's what I like to hear. That's what I want to see. All right. All right. Well, now that this is done, hopefully the combat team can give us a little bit more about actual Spider-Man gameplay. That'll be interesting to see. If they can actually go through some of his skills, specialty tree, mastery tree, and then like some of the gear, what we can expect on gear perks for him, maybe even some exotics, that would be a nice thing to do, I'm sure once you get in the game and play as Spider-Man, you'll think that the gameplay is fine. It's like comparing it to Insomniac's specifically is a fool's errand, because that game was specifically made for the exclusive use of Spider-Man as the primary character. Like that's if they added, I don't know, if they added Ezio from Assassin's Creed to this game, it wouldn't be at the quality of Ezio from Assassin's Creed in freaking Assassin's Creed, right? Like when you're developing a game for an individual character, of course more focus is going to be put on the character's movement, making sure the character feels like the character, right? If they added Batman to this game, he wouldn't feel like Batman from Arkham Knight, right? So that's how it is. But I assure you, for this, it will work out just fine. This game is a dungeon crawling Spider-Man game at heart, so it's not as if It's not an exploratory Spider-Man game with side quests and a big open city. It's not that kind of game, so you don't need like the most hyper realistic web swinging, wall running, wall climbing. You don't need a ceiling that's 1,000 stories tall, you know. You bought it full price. I mean, I did too back when it came out, but either way, the update's free, and anyone buying it right now is only getting it for $10, right, or 15 maybe. His personal story took him voicing Spider-Man the next level. Yeah, I mean, that's sweet. I mean, it's a tragic story, but we'll see how he's in game. Like I said, I just don't know how many lines Spider-Man even is going to have in this game. So I don't know how hardcore into it you really had to be, right? But I guess we'll see. Think they should talk about stuff that pertains to everyone, not just PlayStation. Well, yeah, I mean, well, there's obviously the raid, the gear reworks, right? Like all of that stuff is for everybody. But I think from a combat perspective, if they're going to bring on the combat team, I think they've said what they've said about, they don't want to spoil too much about the raid. And I think they've said what they said about gear, right? There's not much more to say about the gear reworks that they haven't already said. So I think Spider-Man as a showing some combat is kind of the only other thing they haven't really revealed yet, right? Who's saying a car truck is the same as a truck bed?
We are back.
Yo, I don't know.
We're back.
All right, here we are. They're back.
Hi, everyone.
They are back.
I know, we found more friends. Hi. We just say goodbye to Sean, make sure he was taken care of. Sean was awesome,
this is the
that was the first time that any of us.
All right.
The bottom right guy. That's
I met
the guy who went rogue
I don't know
and
about
revealed
you
when
guys.
Spider-Man was coming out.
But
A lot of people seem to feel like he's the perfect voice for Spider-Man, and I agree.
I 1000% agree, and it was a pleasure to talk to him. I'm like the biggest Spider-Man fan, and I told him I'm in the BRB. Yep, that was awesome. 1337s.
I don't actually know.
Well, we have Scott. Let me wait.
Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scott Walters, AJ Gartmeyer with us. Scott is our lead combat designer. AJ is our lead animator.
Oh, Scott's the
and you guys
combat
did a lot
designer
of
who
work
took
on
over for
Spider-Man.
Vince when Vince left.
A lot of work on Spider-Man, and I know everyone wants to hear from you guys.
All right, this is the
first
thing
off,
to watch out for.
I will say
we're gonna get some good
I
stuff
did have
here,
some
I
technical
think.
issues, so I couldn't get my PS5 test build. It was like last-minute technical issues too. I couldn't get my PS5 build working completely, but I do have some pre-recorded footage for you guys to look at while Scott and AJ talk.
Oh,
some of you might have seen this footage already. We have some little clips.
Oh,
here and there,
Andy,
which people,
the
which we haven't shown on social
reveal,
or anywhere
technical
else
difficulty
either.
from Andy.
But you know, in our day of
Oh, you
working
gotta
from
love 'em.
home, anything can go wrong, and it did unfortunately go wrong. But Spider-Man goes live tomorrow, so you guys can
It's not the end of the world,
play
I
with
guess.
him tomorrow. But so Scott, while we look at some pre-recorded footage, what's your and AJ, both of you guys, what was your overall vision in creating Spider-Man's kit and how he
We wanted him to be like Insomniacs. It was already done 100 times, so we just
be as kind of close to the comic source or as what people would recognize as possible.
wanted you to
So,
really
a lot of
feel
web,
like
a lot of
Spider-Man.
acrobatic maneuvers. In terms of gameplay, we were really looking for that support functionality. Feel a role that maybe hasn't. We don't have a ton of in our roster, or like how he would fit in our team.
I wonder if Uncle
And
Ben is
so
in the story.
we thought about that really manifested as using his webs to crowd control enemies, as opposed to being like a Hulk that is just smashing everyone, or an Iron Man that is just blasting everyone from range. So we really leaned into using his webs to build up that status meter that's unique to him, and giving him sort of a skill tree that he can customize what that does for gameplay.
Okay, sounds like a character in a video game.
I think Scott sums it up pretty well. I think acrobatic is a big one, flippy stuff with him.
Yeah.
So you'll get like Black Panther vibes occasionally, but only little bits. But, moving him around. Like that's the big thing with him. I want to be able to move around easily from points as the hero and get to different targets. So I think that plays to him a little bit better than other heroes in the roster currently.
And
Yeah.
Scott, Spiderman can do a lot of takedowns, right?
Yes. So we're looking at ways to kind of capture that really cinematic style of gameplay that you don't typically get in our multiplayer game, because we can't do a bunch of fancy slowdown. Since there are other players,
because it's a multiplayer game. Oh, it's almost as if they understand that it can't be like Insomniac's.
Representing that, and so we built out his.
Look at this. This looks fantastic.
Utilize that functionality. So, as you do melee damage, which he is kind of a melee-focused character, you build up a meter. If you take damage, you lose
Look at
a
that.
meter.
Webs them
I
up.
want you to sort of put an emphasis on the spider sense and paying attention to that indicator and dodging.
They just spammed every heroic here.
So that's kind of the ethos behind that. But once that's full, you can perform a takedown on an enemy that isn't.
The webbing's interesting. I mean, it looks the same. That exact webbing
not
looks
only
the same
do you get all
as
your takedown bonuses,
Insomniac, but he also has three different
trigger on
web
effect
types.
for takedowns. You have that, but he also has some other skills in his mastery tree that are specifically related to using that skill. So he can.
I bet intrinsic burst will be very powerful on him. Yeah, I was gonna say he seems like a finisher heavy guy.
So can we go over
Whoa,
like
what
each
kind
of
of
the?
that was quite the swing there.
Looking at, some footage right now. Specifically his assault heroic.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
there's an
assault
intrinsic
heroic is
burst.
the web bomb.
Oh, look at that suit.
You know, in the comics.
Oh, that
he
suit looks
sort of
great.
Appropriates gadgets. From
Whoa!
some
You can grab an enemy and chuck them if they're webbed, and they can web to the wall. How cool is that?
Or bomb that explodes and releases the web fluid. And so he
Look at
thought
this.
that was a really good ranged heroic for the assault.
That looked
Throw it,
sick.
you can aim it.
That looked
it's ready to
legit.
go
I don't know
for
if you guys
enemies,
got a
and
good look
for
at
the crowd
that.
control function, it obviously instantly webs some of the weaker enemies and builds up a large chunk on some of the stronger ones. There are ways you can increase the amount of web status that does through gear and other mastery effects. So yeah, the goal there was really just how can you quickly web a large group of targets efficiently, and
This looks
and really
great.
control that zone with the web bomb. And there's some cool upgrades with it. So
That looks
one of
sweet.
his
That looks
ranged
as sweet as it
attacks
gets.
is a web tether that he can fire out, and his web bomb can also fire out multiple tethers.
Ooh.
So if you want to
Ooh.
pull them
So
into
fun.
a zone as opposed to send them out, you can use the tether effect.
Yeah, doing like web traps or web explosions,
AJ, how much, how
trip
much
mine
more
type web
fun did you
stuff
guys have
could be
doing
pretty
all the
sweet.
Webbed enemies and having them stick to walls and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a blast, Phil. Right? Anytime we get to do different stuff with the enemies, it's always a good time. So, and I think the entire web status.
All right,
is
we've seen
just
this clip enough times.
more than I imagined it would have been, which is awesome.
That's
I love
super
when
cool.
I love when that stuff happens. I kind of get a little bit in the box when I'm animating stuff or whatever, and Scott and the design team are just like doing magic over there. And then I look back and I'm like, wait, they do this? Wait, they go here? Wait, Scott, is this supposed to happen? So no, I think it's phenomenal. I love it. I've been playing with them more and more, and it's just a blast. So.
Yeah, with the web status, you definitely want to knock them on the walls. That'll extend the duration. That's kind of the whole gimmick behind it. Is once you get them webbed, if you knock them around, you can get them to stick to walls, and that'll just extend the duration.
Might be your new main rondo, yeah. I mean, I'll be playing as him. Let's see, like.
So let's talk about his support heroic.
Yeah, let's talk about the support
Support
heroic.
heroic is the spider drone, yeah. So that one, basically he creates a drone out of parts that you'll find if you go into photo mode while it's active. You'll see it's got little radio antennas on there. It's basically a quadcopter that has a web blaster or web shooter on it. And it'll fly around the battlefield and pepper your enemies with web projectiles. So it acts as a ranged support for you to help web up targets, so you can just apply more web status. It's got a bunch of other.
It sounds
useful
great.
upgrades.
I love passive type effects. That's
shield that you
I
can
might even
deploy,
build around the
that
support heroic.
basically
Just
hovers around
have it
so
shoot
anyone
web,
inside of it
high web
is immune to
intensity,
projectiles. Those will
web
bounce
everything
off,
up, and then just get it off cooldown
any-
fast. That sounds like something I
Any
would
melee
build.
damage, they have a defensive buff when they're inside the bubble. So if targets rush in, you'll be armored as well.
Nice.
There's
Is the bubble
healing.
like kind of?
Yeah, he's not going to be as good as Thor. Man, you never know. You never know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what his exotics give, right?
Iron Man has something.
He could have some crazy
heroic.
exotics
So
that
it's about the same
give
size.
crazy
It follows
boosts.
the
That
drone.
you never know.
And what's cool about the drone is that you can either have it follow you, and so it'll kind of just move around with you, or you can have it defend a point. So if you hold the button down, it'll stay where it is, and you'll see a little indicator on the ground telling you that it's sort of like defending that area. So if you want to like capture a point, you can basically have it stay on that point.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I like
either
that.
Do the bubble.
That's going to be good for the
or
raid.
Provide healing, regen to everyone that's kind of capturing that point, and that way, even if you move out of it to do melee combat, or
Making your brain hurt with the video. I know that sucks.
Sitting in that spot.
Nice. AJ, what was it like animating the drone?
Oh man, that's the highlight of my career right there. Animating drones, I love it. No, I actually remember. I think it was either Swalters or maybe Jorge. Somebody came to me because they just had a static mesh on there initially, and they were like, "Hey, this thing's really static. Can you make this move?" I was like, "Okay, I guess we'll throw an animation on there real quick." But I like him just because he's always webbing everything for me, which is awesome. So I'll just like run around and do stuff, and then I find someone who's kind of webbed after I got them halfway, and I just grab them and throw them. It's like he's like a little tag team buddy in there. So
Yeah, it's a good support tool.
it's awesome.
Hey Scott, there's some people that are asking about the web status. How does it fit in with the rest of the battery effects?
Yeah, so the web status is actually neutral. It's a lot like the stun in that regard.
Neutral.
So
Neutral
it
status
won't trigger
effect
the battery
confirmed.
effect.
I think we knew that
It's
already.
Really strong status in its own right, similar to the stun, right? The stun lets.
And I mean, Spider-Man
not
will
only
probably
like
have some
targets, but
DPS
as
options.
you
I
do
mean, I'm sure you
finishers,
can
whereas
build
the
him
web
really well.
really, like, you have
Regardless,
ways
this
to
game
upgrade
never had a
them to
problem
make
with
them
characters being
basically take
viable.
advantage
Even
of
the
combat
lowest
for
tier
quite a while.
characters in this game are
So
still
if you-
very
if you
usable.
upgrade and build your kit
They're just
around
not
that,
all
you can
Thor
really lock
level,
down the
you know.
target,
So
while the rest of the team and yourself, right, join in on taking them out. So
Absolutely.
And then finally, can you talk to us about the?
yeah, the webbing animation. Go rewatch Insomniac's webbing
yeah, so
animation.
the ultimate
It-
heroic is
the-
the
that
web
webbing
wrecking ball.
animation is actually
With
the exact
designing
same.
the heroics, we were really looking to lean into the web.
Oh, look at those
Right?
intrinsics. Oh God, is he gonna do orb
So
on
we have
any
him sort
kill?
of create this giant wrecking ball of webs, with web shooters that he slams down, and we pulled the idea straight out of the comics for that one. It does a lot of damage to any target that gets hit, and it also provides defensive and offensive buff to himself, similar.
If he can do
to
heroic
heroic
orbs,
buffs.
if he can do heroic orbs
As you
on
upgrade
any
that,
kill with his
that
ultimate, that's gonna be
actually
OP. That's
really
gonna be like
increases
Hulk
the
Clap.
amount of intrinsic meter you generate, like it'll auto-generate, so you'll be able to perform the takedowns more frequently. Not to mention the fact that it does a lot of web status. It's enough to web even some of the stronger targets. So any of your skills, or
It's probably just a
perks
chance.
are
That doesn't
tied
look
to
like
the
as many
target will
enemies,
trigger on that as well.
as many orbs as there are enemies.
Well, everyone's loving it and loving the amount of orbs that I'm showing on screen right now that you get from it.
Yeah, when a target is webbed and they're defeated, there are perks that can generate intrinsic or health orbs. This
Or
this
heroic
footage
orbs.
might be a bit excessive. It might have been before it was changed.
Yes.
Maybe.
Damage
But,
sticks and orbs are the most
but yeah.
satisfying thing.
We did take a special note that like we didn't want to make the heroic feel too weak, but we didn't want to make it so that if you instantly defeated an enemy, you wouldn't get the bonus. So if you defeat an enemy that would have been webbed, you'll still get those perks for like dropping the orbs and all
Stop
that.
it! They're gonna have a when you kill a
hero
webbed
web,
enemy,
so,
get an orb. This is gonna be.
yeah,
He's gonna be
that's why you get
insanely
all the
good.
orbs, even though all the enemies are defeated at the same time.
Yeah, it's probably been tuned since then.
Oh, totally. These were
Probably. Oh, it's been
probably
nerfed.
taken before that. But yeah.
I totally don't adjust
Nerf
animations
confirmed.
after things are shipped. That never happens.
Look at this. He's good. His auto takedown. You just spend his intrinsic on a takedown.
So you talked about
That's
guys talked about the
fantastic.
intrinsic already. Did you want to briefly speak on like his like specifically his range capabilities? I know you did a little bit in
Look at this, and then so then he's got the webbing
Yeah,
on
so
his
he's definitely
hands
not
and
a
feet,
ranged
so he can
character
web
like
on
an
melee
Iron Man,
hits.
or even a widow in that sense. But he obviously uses web shooters.
Yeah.
So we.
I don't know who's
primarily
complaining about
focused
this
in
footage. I
normal
think people are
attack
just
to
will
be,
never be satisfied
status
because this looks
effect.
fine.
So it builds the
This
web
looks like what
status.
I would expect for this
It's
game.
not the most efficient for damage. But
Look, so then once you
he
get
has
your
3 different
heroic,
power
you can
attack
just
shots
do a
that you can
takedown.
charge up. And each shot uses a different amount of.
If you can do
web fluid
intrinsic
used
burst
in
on
this.
takedown,
Web
that would be
shooters, he
pretty
has 3
sweet. He's definitely going to
locations.
be an intrinsic character, right?
So, the first one is his web blast, which that's the high damage, like high impact. Interrupts the target. It breaks their shield. He's got the web spread, where he fires multiple projectiles out in a wedge. Those will knock targets back, so that's really good for shoving targets that you've webbed into walls or knocking them off of ledges.
The putting the
or
enemies
just
into
creating
walls
some
is
space.
pretty. That's a sweet one.
And then the web tether, which I mentioned earlier, which
Whatever
if you fire that
builds.
at the ground or at
I mean,
another target,
it's going to be
you'll find
interesting. I'm
another
curious
target
how I'm going to
web
build this guy
and
now.
basically yank the two together. That one does a lot of web status as well. The sort of offset for that is that it uses a lot of the web fluid when you're fighting. So the web fluid, well, that's one of the things that I actually really wanted to incorporate from. I remember watching the Saturday morning cartoons or even the comics. Right, he's always like
This gameplay
running
looks
out of
great.
web fluid mid swing.
I don't care what anyone thinks.
From
This looks sweet.
Some incredible height while he's frantically reloading. We didn't do that for the traversal, but we did do it for the range combat. So that's kind of one of the also combat ways that we can like tune that. So yeah, so some of the stronger ones use more web fluid. There's ways to upgrade that so you have more shots per cartridge, so you have to reload less frequently, or you can reduce the cost on some of the attacks. So
It's got people can see that there's 3 icons below the intrinsic bar.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So those are the power attack shots. So you'll always have the same basic shot, no matter which one you have equipped, but you can use the left and right on the D-pad to select which one that you're going to use when you charge up. The charge time is the same for all of them, and you can actually charge and then switch the version you want while you're already charged. So as long as you have it set to whatever you want before you fire, you'll get that shot. And again,
This
they
gameplay
have
looks
different
sweet.
costs and everything like that, so.
Great.
That's awesome. So it's basically like weapon selection.
Yeah, it's a weapon selector, just not for the basic fire. It's only for the charged. Right.
Oh, only for the
and the
charged.
web cost only
okay.
happens for the ranged attacks that you
Shoot the
use
right
when
guy,
you
bros.
shoot.
So you always do
Anything
that
that you
little
with
one,
melee
but then
that
you can
uses
charge it up
weapons
and do
swinging,
one of the 3.
None of that stuff uses that. Like I didn't want to. As much as I enjoy like the scene in the comics of having to frequently reload.
Give him the free takedown, bro.
Like
what are you doing?
Swinging, it doesn't happen
Oh,
super
wrong
often,
guy.
and you swing a lot in our game, so I didn't want that to be something that constantly occurred, like you falling to the ground because you were swinging and ran out. So it's only on the ranged attacks. It won't affect any of your traversal or melee.
Speaking of traversal, can you guys talk a little bit more about like just what he can do?
Yeah, if you can get an easy
animating at all?
Intrinsic burst, and
Sure.
then
I mean,
ways to
Scott
get
and I can go back and forth, but
Yeah, you guys-
basically he does a lot.
your heroics back quickly. You could probably web everything,
He has
do
probably-
takedowns
he has the most
nonstop,
unique traversal out
and
of
get
any
your
hero in our
heroics
game,
back
most
very
work that we've
regularly. I
probably
think
put in
that's going to be the way to
traversal.
do it.
Also, cool part is as we've done him, we've actually tweaked some of the other heroes as well. So spoilers, no spoilers, but little things that I've been cleaning up in there to reduce clunkiness. But yeah, I mean, he can swing, obviously, which is amazing, a new thing. He can web zip as well, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, he can wall crawl, he can wall run. So yeah, there's just a plethora of options, which is awesome. In terms of animating him doing that, it's like a playground, right? I think it's actually one of those things where there's so many inspirations and things to pull from that it's like it's such sensory overload.
That's a cool
especially
takedown.
with him. Like we've done it for a few years at this point, right? But him, it was like you go in there and there's
Sweet
movies,
takedown
there's
there.
comics, there's games, and there's a lot of them. So it's just kind of looking through all that stuff, seeing how much time we have, and seeing where we can pull in fun, iconic poses, motions that you're used to seeing, or you'd expect him to do, or poses to hit. So, and then overall, just trying to make swinging feel good in our game, which is obviously a challenge in itself. We are not like a giant open world game, so we have rules that we have to kind of work.
Oh,
with.
we're
So
not a
it was
giant
fun
open
challenge,
world
and I
game.
think
It's
it came out
almost
awesome. I
like
had a
that's what we
blast
were
swinging
saying,
around,
right?
so.
Why
Yeah.
why don't you guys tell them a little bit how the traversal works? Like what's it working off of?
Yep. So the swing, basically, AJ sort of talked about this, but we had to do a lot of work to sort of upgrade our swing from what we had with characters like Widow and Kamala to be, a lot more flexible. And so his swing input is a dedicated input. It's on R2. So if you hold down the right trigger, you'll jump into the air and start swinging. If you're already in the air, you'll just start swinging right away. As long as you hold that, you'll swing. If you let go, it'll disconnect, so you have a lot of control of how you're moving in that swing.
I like
if you
that.
just keep holding it, he'll
I wonder if there's
swings
swing
automatically
attacks. That'll be interesting.
over and over again.
I guess it'll
I saw
just be
someone
your
in the
your,
chat mentioned
your
pressing X to swing faster. If you press the jump button while swinging, you do launch yourself further. So
There you
you'll
go.
get an extra
All right.
speed boost.
Well,
while
that's
doing
all
that.
we needed to know.
There's also a skill upgrade for the web zip, which you similar to some of the other stuff that we've done where the grappling hook goes to a point. He can web to a ledge directly and sort of perch on it. If you press the jump button just as you reach the ledge, you'll launch yourself off of it for a further boost. He does not
do that entirely too much. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Scott. I literally just run around the units and just launch him everywhere. Anyways, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. He doesn't have a double jump or a super jump off the ground, but if you are on the ground,
Does
or
not
on
have
the
a double
wall and you
jump.
press the R2, he'll automatically jump off and start going into swing. So that
Okay.
is sort of the one button press to swing.
Yeah, okay. So that's fine.
Input
No double
for
jump is
Spider-Man.
fine for him because of the swinging.
In
He's
terms
still
of,
basically a flying
flexibility,
character, right?
Like it does not require a wall or a ledge or anything like that. If there is collision around, then we obviously definitely try and get the web to it, so you swing from that point. But in the areas like the wastelands or the Utah Badlands, when there's a lot of open air, we don't make you sprint on the ground. You can just kind of swing anywhere. So we did a lot of work to try and make that feel as fluid and as
Look at
smooth as
that.
possible, for, you know, while still sort of maintaining the traversal metrics that we have for our game with our flyers and the fact that, you know, we, like AJ said, we're not a giant open world, right? So we have certain limitations that we have to adhere to. Outside of
that swinging looks
the
fine.
Wall run and wall crawl.
That swinging looks like exactly what I expected it to look like.
Friendly neighborhood wall crawler. So we talked about the amount of people that would actually wall crawl to get around any of our levels is probably very small. And wall crawl is not super quick, and we do have some open areas.
That was one of the
and
big
large areas.
critiques from
Definitely not the
IGN
quickest
was
way to
that
get
the
up to
wall
that rooftop, for
crawling
example,
was
in
just
that
not
footage you're
immersive
seeing.
enough. It's like, okay.
So,
But then these people who
but
actually play the
we
game
definitely wanted to include
understand
this
that no one
to sort of fit
actually
the
will be
character.
wall crawling at all at any
Along those
point.
lines, we really wanted to improve on our wall run. So we gave him a lot of ability to control his run on the wall. So unlike some of the other heroes who just run left or right because they're using it as a platform to jump off of, he can run straight up the wall and he can steer left and right.
Yeah, like look at that
on
movement.
there
That's
from that.
sweet movement. I don't
so
care what
you have
anyone
a lot of
says. It's better than
control on the
friggin'
wall.
Widow's movement. It's better than most
So
characters'
just move and
movement.
get around.
People
So
like
he's-
to talk
he's
shit
really quick
because it's
to
Spider-Man, but like
get around the play space with his
this
traversal.
movement is absolutely fine.
Awesome.
Real quick, sorry,
yeah,
I
go
saw
ahead,
a
go for
comment
it.
in the chat. Somebody mentioned, I think, air evade or evading while you're in the air.
Yeah.
Spidey does have an air evade, thankfully. I personally am also in the camp of I get very frustrated when I don't have an air evade and I get hit by a projectile or whatever it might be. So no, you can totally dodge those with him.
Yeah, his spider sense will go off while you're in the air. If you evade, you get the perfect evade bonuses just the same way.
Ooh, higher level gameplay.
There
Let's see
is
it.
Sort of a drop off.
Now I'm
on the
excited.
evade, so you can't.
Oh,
it's not a.
here it is.
good
Now this is
traversal
gameplay.
Mechanic. You'll definitely want to swing you to sort of move.
Okay,
but
he can
in
copy
combat, if
emotes?
You just stick in any direction, hit the evade button. He'll sort of use a web to pull himself off in that direction.
I do believe this was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll find yourself doing more things with him in the air than other heroes, which makes a lot of sense. So that's great. We did our job. But like, I just playing him, I've found that as well. I'm like, oh man, I can stay up here for quite a while and just manipulate.
This is your
everybody.
high-end gameplay. Yikes.
It's fun.
Is there any other any special thing that you want to draw special attention to for Spider-Man's combat while I show just random emotes and stuff?
I think for his combat,
Can
he's
we see
definitely built
gear?
to be a melee-focused character.
Yeah, melee focused. I'll be the
He
judge
is
of
meant to
that.
Get in there. His heavy combo deliberately will always sort of use the sort of go-to gap closer move on targets if they're far enough away. We really want to have him get in there and sort of brawl. He's also really good at bringing enemies up into the air. He is an air juggler. You know, when you think of Spider-Man, you don't think of him standing on the
That
ground
costume's
quite a bit. You just
decent.
think of him in motion and swinging around.
Decent
So he's got
costume.
a lot of moves that will launch the target up or pull the target up. So his power attack will pull enemies up into the air. air juggling targets and webbing them up.
I'll be building ranged Spider-Man.
AJ, what was the most satisfying thing that you worked on for Spider-Man?
Most satisfying.
It's back to us, by the way. It's
yeah, I'm there. It's all good. Thank you. That's a tough question. I don't know. Like, it's all fun. I guess for me, it's always just I have these weird moments when we're creating these heroes where it's like you're just living in this box, creating them, and then at some point they a switch flips, and they become really fun. And it doesn't truly answer your question, but it's like that's what's awesome for me. Like building the melee just in itself, getting things to flow, getting things to hit right and feel correct on the controller, yada yada yada. And then you put all that stuff together. It's like it is by far the most satisfying feeling. I'll hit up Swelters randomly.
Realistically, the best way to play Spider-Man is probably going to be a Valor build,
I'm
right?
just having a lot of fun. I'm not even thinking about working on this dude right now, which
If I had
is
to guess,
wonderful for me.
just off of what we've
So,
seen.
I guess that's my weird way around your question, if it answers it.
No, it does answer it. If anyone has any questions about Spider-Man's combat, before he launches tomorrow for Scar or AJ, now would be the time to do it. As we just talk, but anything else? And what's your
we need
favorite
that.
way
We need the
to play
symbiote suit. I don't know how the symbiote
Scott?
suit is not
your personal
gonna be
favorite.
coming in.
Not the best, but your personal favorite.
Oh god, he has to think hard.
I really like his heavy combo.
Oh
I
god,
think
no one's gonna do that.
is really satisfying. Mixing that in with just the air juggling with the light combo and sort of going back and
You can't talk about air juggling because all people are going to care about is boss
you'll
DPS.
Notice some fan favorite
You're not going to air juggle
moves,
Claw.
inside the heavy combo. We really wanted that one, like all of our other heroes, to sort of emphasize what's special about them.
Yep.
And so he uses his webs and all of those attacks to either get close to an enemy or knock them into the air or just launch them away, knock them away. So I would say use the power attack, get in the air. It's a fun challenge to play like the floor is lava with Spider-Man. Yes. See how long you can stay in the air and sort of bounce between targets. If you ever see a swarm of drones, Spider-Man is like the go-to hero to take them all out because he can make pretty quick work of them. He can get in the air and just sort of ping pong.
They can all make pretty quick work of them.
Nice. Can he dodge in the air with the webs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just asking questions from chat. The everything's dropping at I think around in the morning our time. So the time it usually drops. So I think we're aiming for 8 a.m. But it's not entirely up to us. So
how does they not know this stuff by now?
A general ballpark of that.
How do they not know this
let me see
today?
Are other characters gonna get air dodges?
Some of them already have them. Not everyone currently does. Certainly something that we can talk about looking at. I think it's more important for our characters that are specifically meant to air juggle or fly. That makes sense to have them.
They need to give us a little tease of the next
It's
the
doable,
next thing
but
after
Cap
Spider-Man.
doing an air dodge is a bit weird. Like he already has his dive on this heavy attack. You guys could just press that. But yeah, I don't know if everyone's gonna get an air dodge. It's definitely something that is kind of character specific in that sense.
And I guess one of the last questions from our chat is there something you maybe.
Oh, it's not the last question. There's many
Okay.
questions.
Oh, it was. I think this might be a question more for Alex. Alex, hi. I don't know if you're watching, but if you guys know how Spider-Man's gear works with his combat.
I mean, he has gear perks that are specifically related to the skills that he does. So stuff that improves the web status, improves his ability to use webs.
There we go.
We have the obvious, the traditional slate of things of adding status effects to certain attacks, triggering similar buffs that you have on the other heroes. So he has both generic kind of gear perks that all the other heroes have access to, plus ones that are specific to his own kit, specifically his own heroics and web status. I also saw another question of melee improvements. Melee is definitely something that we're looking at tuning in the future through gear perks and other adjustments.
Oh, that's not good enough.
I know a lot of players play ranged quite a bit.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Well, at least they're aware of it.
Melee gets
At least they're aware of it. I had the video 5 months ago
Okay,
about how
well,
bad
I think
melee
we're
was,
the
but it was
watch
too
party
it was too
supposed to
niche
last
at the
like an hour,
time.
so we're a little bit over. But if you guys can let's anything else you guys wanted to say about Spider-Man combat?
No, I guess that's
Other
it.
than to have everyone enjoy it tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's about it.
definitely have fun. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing the crazy combo videos and cool things that people do with the new toolkit they have access
No
to.
one cares about crazy combo videos.
Have
They
fun.
care
Enjoy
about
'em. Be
end
kind to one
game
another.
builds.
We appreciate all of you. So I hope you have a wonderful time air juggling enemies and playing the lava game. I love how Swalter said that. That's exactly what I was doing. I didn't even realize it.
You guys can hang out while we close shop here. Why not? Phil, just real quickly, we didn't even talk about like the war table at all. We kind of just went straight into the interview with Sean Chiplock. But you were there. You were talking about the claw raid section, weren't you?
He was.
Yeah.
He was talking
How
about
excited are you for people to finally get their hands on it tomorrow?
I'm so excited. Who's planning on having this thing cleared like on the first day tomorrow? Because I want to see if I'm going to see your playthroughs on YouTube or anything.
Me,
World's
Fluff
first,
Money?
bro.
Okay, all right.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna hold you guys to
Brave.
that.
I see some brave people. All right. I'm super curious to see how long it takes you guys to figure all the different things out in there.
It's gonna take an hour.
There's some
I hope
really
not. I hope
interesting
it's. I
strategies
hope
you can do in the raid. So
there's some interesting stuff.
really pay attention to the spaces, pay attention to mechanics, think about how you can leverage the different things that are in there. There's ways to get much more efficient at a lot of the puzzles and the fights. So if you're smart about the way that you approach things, then you can be very successful. And certainly, as you get better, it's going to get faster. But the first time while you're learning everything, just, try to pay attention to everything. It's super exciting too, right? Because we have Okoye who shows up. You get to hang out with Shuri a little bit, and then we have Zavari.
I do like that. I like how they're gonna have
super
like
excited about.
cutscenes and interactions
I've
with
wanted to have
NPCs
Zavari
in
do
the
some
actual
really cool
raid.
magic stuff for a
So that
long
is
time.
cool.
And super excited that they get to do that in the raid. It's super hard not to talk about it because to me it's so cool. But it's amazing. Like I will tell you this much: like when you see Zavari show up and he's just kind of chilling and he's just walking, like something big gonna happen. So just so you know.
Okay.
To me, that's one of my favorite moments. So it's super cool. And you get to fight a giant claw. We've said that in the past, which I'm super excited about. And you get to fight the bosses with that have different stages, which is super exciting. So you guys are gonna have to bring your A game tomorrow, definitely. And we've said a lot in the past, like it takes communication to be super successful in the raid.
But
really
we're gonna
good
have
if somebody
matchmaking.
takes charge. So even if like not everybody has a microphone, like if one person wants to give people jobs, that actually makes it so much easier. Like if you just try to go at it, without talking to each other, it's a lot more challenging than.
Yeah, good
really
luck giving someone on the comms
would encourage
jobs
you guys
when you
to
get
try to
match
give each
made
other
with a
some
group.
Jobs, like, hey, you do this, I'll go over here, you take care of that. Once you start doing that, it's a lot easier. Because it's a raid, there's not fixed objectives on screen all the time that tell you exactly what to do, right? It'll tell you generally what you're supposed to be doing, but there won't be icons on everything, so you'll have to make sure that you kind of piece together what to do. So a lot of really challenging stuff in there. And then if you do the raid every week and you get the best rewards every week and you make sure that you power up your characters, within maybe 5 or 6 weeks you'll be able to be strong enough to go tackle the elite version, which is really going to require you to pay attention to the gear that you're wearing, to how you're fighting, where you're fighting. That's
I mean,
really
it's
where
sweet
gonna
that
get
there's gonna
interesting.
be no shortage of people that
It's
need to
okay
do the
if the
raid
elite
because it
version
can
is
be
too hard
repeated.
for you.
You need to do it on
the
every
easy normal
character.
version of the
Like
raid is really
people
meant
will be doing the raid a
where
lot.
most people
So
can complete it provided they have some good teamwork. But the elite version is really where you're gonna go if you want to test yourself. So excited to see who finishes all that stuff first.
Make sure
Also,
to tag us.
Yeah, and I super want to see who's gonna be the first to have a Spider-Man complete the raid.
Oh,
see how long that takes.
it's gonna be exciting. Whoever does it first, make sure to tag us on whatever, Twitter, anything.
Oh, we'll be tagging them.
Make sure we see it. All right, so I think that's it. Just real quick, there was our social media said that I think our Black Friday sale ends today. It doesn't actually ends on the 2nd. So follow what it says in game for the sale. Just wanted to mention that. But until then, tomorrow's the drop,
I guess
2.2. It's our quote unquote holiday content. It's Spider-Man. It's the claw raid. It's all the systems reworks that we showed off in previous streams. It's a lot of stuff is happening tomorrow, including all the gear. Perk changes,
they need to be clear about what time it's happening.
And please make sure to tell
there goes
us
Phil.
what you guys think about it.
There he goes.
On
He's
Discord,
gone.
Reddit, socials, anything. We want to hear your feedback.
Oh, he's got a
especially
dog.
since a lot of the gear, a lot of the everything is.
He's got a dog in a
changing
training
with this
cage.
update. I think Phil's gonna bring in, Phil, are you bringing in Freya? I don't know.
I am.
Okay.
That's what it was. It was a dog.
I know.
Some people wanted to see her.
I do. I love Freya.
She gets to do her
Whoa.
spring premiere.
Freya can sign off with us. Hi, Freya.
Holy goodness.
Hi. Everyone say hi, Freya.
Okay, I was not expecting this.
That is a cute
Freya, are you
pupper.
excited for tomorrow?
That's a yes.
She is. She's also excited to go back to sleeping.
As puppies do.
Of course, yeah. How
As
old?
puppies do.
She is an 8-week-old German Shepherd.
My goodness. I remember when my dogs were 8 weeks old. Now they're just
I
old
know.
dogs. Yeah. So adorable.
Yeah.
I remember
All right,
when my
so
dog was 8
tomorrow,
weeks old.
like around 8
No,
a.m.
I got my
although
dog
it
at,
could change. It's
like,
not
4
always up to
months
us for when the
old, but she was
update
still
goes
a puppy.
live. But hopefully it is until then. We'll post patch notes before that. But until then, Phil, Scott, AJ, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
You're all
That's a good
awesome.
one.
Yeah.
Guys,
Keep being
you're the
awesome. Have a great
best.
day.
You're all awesome, everyone. Cool.
All right.
Well,
I guess
see
that's
you guys
it.
tomorrow. I know I'm going to be watching all your guys' live streams. So until then, until our next stream, whenever that is, we will see you guys later. And thank you guys for tuning in to our
Freya in-game win.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.
Talk to you soon.
Oh my god, goodbye. Well, that was interesting. That was an interesting watch. 12 p.m. Eastern, you think so? They didn't quite say, but I that's what I assumed it would be. You want him on Xbox? Yo, I hear you, Alex. I feel for Xbox players, unfortunately. It is what it is, though. Claw Raid, though, is going to be sweet across all platforms. That's going to be legit. Y'all appreciate the new follows. Yo, K. DeBoer and Jared. Miss your follows, but thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got. Very interesting. Interesting information. The Claw Raid looks great. Spider-Man looks super fun. Pretty much what we thought. I was hoping we got a little more about his abilities and his gear, but I mean, we'll see it all tomorrow anyway, so I'm not super worried. And I didn't want, like, mechanical spoilers for the raid. Obviously, they're not going to spoil the puzzles, right? 12 p.m. Eastern, expect an hour download. Yeah, I figured as much. I'll probably be on a little before then. Just, getting ready, getting my raid team ready. We got a really sweet raid team for you. We're even though they're not tracking like a world's first, we're definitely looking to do to be the world's first. So should be fun. We got a really, really solid team. So I'm excited for that, at least for the very first run. And then after that, so my plan is raid, then Spider-Man, and do all the Spider-Man stuff. And then ideally maybe try to do a raid with Spider-Man if we can get him up to 150 before end of day. We'll try to bang out a raid with him. But we'll see. We'll see. Either way, and then after that, it's going to be obviously raids with viewers, right? Going to do the raid multiple times, of course, on different characters. Try to really understand it. But at the same time, level up Spider-Man. Try to get a really good Spider-Man build going so we can get a build up on YouTube. And then we'll see, man. We shall see. But that's pretty much the plan. But I think that's going to be it for me for this stream, boys. I do have my video, my newest video up. Actually, should have just went live on YouTube at 2. Definitely check that one out. That's the build I'll be going into the raid with on my Thor. And other than that, that's pretty much it. I'll be live tomorrow. I'll let you guys know exactly when, but figure maybe a half hour to an hour before the actual update. And once my raid team is ready to boogie, we are going to, once everyone's got the update downloaded, got in-game, we're getting in the raid, and we are just going to go straight into the raid. Probably not going to be a lot of chat interaction, as I'm going to be talking with them and trying to figure out the puzzles. But that's pretty much it. What happened to high-level gameplay? They were joking. They're not showing that. They said it, like, and then they just started showing emotes. Bro Dad, what's up? I don't know if you remember me. We need to play again sometime. Got my Hawkeye ready. Yo, we will play. We will be doing all the playing. Don't you worry. Definitely tomorrow. Big stream. Big day for the game. Going to be excited. But that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Definitely, same time tomorrow. Be here for that first look at the raid. Obviously, if you don't want any raid spoilers and you want to go into the raid live or blind, do not tune in live because we will be doing the raid. But if you're interested in seeing the raid, if you can't play it for yourself, obviously if it comes out at noon, if you're working or whatever the case, definitely tune in to my stream and all of these streams of the people I'll be playing with so you can see it from all different angles. It should be sweet. That's it for me though, guys. Take it easy.